What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk to you about tuples. Now, a tuple is a type of data structure which basically means it's a container where you can store different values. Now, if you're familiar with lists in Python, a tuple is actually very similar to a list. It's basically a structure where we can store multiple pieces of information, but a tuple has a few key differences from a list that I'm going to talk about in this tutorial. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is show you how to create a tuple. One of the most common examples of tuples is coordinates. To start, I'm going to create a variable called coordinates, and I'm going to set this equal to an open and close parentheses. And whenever we create a tuple inside Python, we need to use these open and close parentheses. I could, for example, put a list of numbers. This could be like my coordinates. I can have like 2 and 3. One of the things about tuples that makes them unique is that a tuple is immutable. You hear that word a lot when we're talking about tuples. Immutable basically means that the tuple cannot be changed or modified. Once you create a tuple, you can't add elements, you can't erase elements from it, you can't change any elements inside that tuple. What you see is what you get. I can come down here and I can print out some of the attributes inside of this tuple. And the way I can access them is by using an open and close square bracket. And in here I can pass in an index. So tuples are indexed starting at 0. So technically we would say that 2 is at index position 0 and 3 is at index position 1. So if I was to say coordinate 0, it should now print out 2. And down here we're printing out 2. And if I wanted to print it out 3, I can put a 1 inside of these square brackets, and now we're printing out 3. So I can access the elements inside of the tuple. I can easily access each entry, but if I was to come over here and try to change one of the elements, so if I set coordinates and coordinates 1 and I try to set this equal to something else like 10, Python is actually going to give us an error message when I run this program. I'm going to run this program and you can see we get this error message that says type error tuple object does not support item assignment because it's immutable, because we cannot change it. And that's basically what tuples are and how we can create them. Now I want to talk to you guys about a common topic in Python, which is the difference between tuples and lists. So remember, a list is basically doing the same thing, which is storing information. If we wanted to create a list, we would use square brackets instead of these parentheses. And if I was using a list, I could assign different values to it. I could basically mutate any of the elements. I could add, delete, modify, change whatever I wanted within the list. But with a tuple, we can't do that. And that's sort of the basic difference. And really, Python doesn't say anything more than that. It basically says one of them is immutable and the other is not. But in practical cases, generally people will use tuples for data that's never going to change. That's why something like coordinates is such a good candidate for a tuple, because once we have coordinates, we're probably not going to modify them. However, we might add other coordinates. So for example, if I wanted to create a list of tuples, I can say 4 and 5, 6 and 7, maybe we can have other coordinates like 3 and 4. So over here I have this list, and inside of that list we have these tuples. But remember, these tuples cannot be modified, the values cannot be changed. From my past experiences, I would say that most of the time you're going to be using lists. Tuples are more for niche, they are used in more specific situations, but there are plenty of situations where you would want to use tuples. So if you're in a situation where you want to store data that cannot be changed or mutated, then tuples are the best way to go. That's some of the basics about tuples and some of the differences between lists and tuples. So a tuple is a great thing to add to your Python repertoire. And that's it from my side. If you enjoyed or found this video helpful in any way, shape or form, then consider leaving a like and subscribing. Turn on post notifications to be the first to know when I upload a new video. Also, if you have any constructive criticism or any questions or anything, comment it down below. And until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.